Okay, gufa. Gufa means it's a repeat of the we're going to repeat the shaila that we asked.
Jacob, you're very choppy lately.
Choppy?
Yeah.
Just since Gufa.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, is it better now?
Yeah.
Okay, let me know if it gets choppy again. Gufa, boy Rabibi Barabaya. Rabibi Barabaya asked, Hitvik pas betaner, right? Like we just discussed, you stuck the pas onto the wall of the oven. Do we allow him to take down the bread before he comes to Chiyuv Chatas or not? Again, we said it's issur derabanan to take the bread off the wall of the oven because there's nothing wrong. What should be wrong with taking the bread off the wall of an oven, right? So you're not supposed to do it because it's not a Shabbos thing to do. But the bottom line is, if you let the bread stay on there, the guy's going to be chayiv kares or chatas. The Gemara, by the way, always when you say chayiv chatas, the Gemara doesn't like to say somebody did it on purpose. So the Gemara is just saying that the guy did it by mistake. Right? So it'd be chayiv echatas. Meaning, do we allow him to be proactive and do something that would allow him not to be chayiv echatas?
Can I ask? Could you just clarify that? What's the difference between that and taking cholent that's being cooked over Shabbos? I mean, you put
that's true.
You put it up. You put the bread on the side of the pas there. You put cholent, up. So now it's Shabbos. You pull your crock pot off or whatever it is. So you pull your pot off the blech. Over here, you're pulling it off there, or the oven is still cooking. You pull your chicken out of the oven.
No, Brett, no, but here's the thing. Let's say the same question would be, let's say somebody put up a cholent on Shabbos, right?
On Shabbos, before Shabbos?
Let's say somebody put up a cholent on Shabbos, and you find out about it. You find about it a minute ago, somebody put up the cholent on Shabbos. He didn't realize it was Shabbos, right? He woke up in the morning, he thought it was Friday, puts up a cholent, and then you come in and say, what are you doing? Right? They put up the cholent. Now, they're not going to be chayav al bishul, because it wasn't cooked yet. So can you now go take the cholent pot and unplug it, the crock pot and unplug it, which would be an issur derabanan, right? Or not? Meaning, is it better to do an issur derabanan to save somebody from having to be over an issur derabanan, right?
I thought our case was that before Shabbos he put the dough on the side of the team.
No, so now the Gemara is going to discuss it now. What exactly is the case? This is the basic case. This is the scenario. Now we have to figure out exactly what it is, right? Yeah, the Gemara is going to go through a bunch of different options. Yeah, you're very good. Yeah. So do we allow him to do it before he comes to the Chiyuv Chatas or not? So Amalei Rav Acha Bar Abaye Ravina Hechitami. What's the case? Right? If he's a shaygig and he didn't even mention it, Laman Hatiru. So what do you mean? That means that the case already happened and the bread was baked, right? So he's a shaygig. Meaning, again, when exactly is the guy coming to ask the question? Yeah. So if it's after the fact and he never asked anything, so what is there to talk about? It was already done. What must have happened is that he woke up on Shabbos morning, thought it was Friday, put the bread on there, and then he remembered, right? He went and he remembered that it was Shabbos. So Gemara says, "Mi mechayev? Would you be chayev on that?" And this also shows you how technical the issur of Shabbos can be. Kol chayev chatas einin chayav an atzei tchilasan shkaga v'seifon shkaga. In order to be chayav chatas, the beginning of the melacha has to be b'shogeg and the end, right? So here, if once he remembers that it's Shabbos, the rest of the melacha is what? It's not shogeg, it's mazid. So
at that point, he's a mazid already.
Correct. So that's why. Now you can't. But he didn't do the melacha b'mazid because the melacha was done b'shogeg. So therefore, he's not a mazid and he's not a shogeg. So therefore, he's not going to have to bring a chatas.
Why not? It's chilasa b'shogeg b'seifer b'mazid.
So what? That's what they see. It's a technical point. Unless you have tchilasa and seifer mazid, or tchilasa and seifer shogeg, you're going to be chayiv on nothing. It's a very interesting thing because it comes out that it's more makel to be partially b'mazid than to be the whole thing b'shogeg. Yes, it's exactly right. Yeah,
It's
very good.
it's very interesting.
Yes, but then we're going to see. Yeah, it's very interesting. We're going to see that a lot in Hilchos Shabbos, that it has to fit exactly into the parameters, and if it doesn't, then you're not gonna have a problem. So yes, and a chanami. So unless you're a shoygig from beginning to end, it's not a problem. And here you were shoygig and a mazid, so that can't be the case either. So Gemara says Ela b'mazid kaidem shi'olei deis skila. No, it's Ela b'mazid. It must be talking about where he put the bread in the oven on purpose. So then the Gemara says, then it shouldn't say chatas, it should say kadim she'olei deis skila. Because if you do it on purpose, you chayiv skila, stoning, right? You chayiv to get stoned, not chatas. Miboyle, right? Ela b'mazid. So again, Ela b'mazid must be talking about mazid. So Gemara asks, kadim she'olei deis skila miboyle. You should have said before you come to an issa skila. So Rav Shila lo'ilam b'shoygig. And really, it's talking about b'shoygig. Well, the man hitiru, and who we talking about? La'acherim. Do we let somebody else come and pull off the bread? And now basically what you're doing is you're asking somebody else to do an issur derabanan in order to save his friend, right? So now Gemara asks, how could that be? Do we tell a person to do a chet in order that his friend will be zeichel, like parents with the cigarettes? Do we tell somebody to do a muksa in order to move a muksa in order to save his friend from a derabanan? We for sure do not say that. So now we're back again to what exactly is the case. We're talking about what he did on purpose. Really say that the shaila was before he came to issur skila, not when he came to issur to chayav chatas. Okay, so we're just basically changing the wording of the question. Ravacha Barei Rava Masnila Behedya, and Ravacha Barei Rava actually learned it Behedya skila, meaning the first teretz is saying it says chatas, but what it really means is skila. And Ravacha Barei Rava actually had a version that said skila. Amar Rabbi Rabaya Hidbik Pas B'Tana Retiru L'Redoysa Kadam She'olei Deis skila. And he's saying that if you stuck the bread on there, then we would allow him, meaning he himself, to take it off before he comes to an issur of skila. There are a lot more scenarios with this, because this is very important. It's a very important Gemara with Benegeya to people doing isurim. Can they save themselves? Okay, fine. Pasharani is the other. So Nani sticks in his hand. Amai chayev. Right, this gets back to what you asked, Yeshua. Am I chayev? Why are you chayev? Being an akira v'anocha me'al gabi makom dalad al dalad v'leka. So now, till now, we were discussing that in order to be chayev, you need an akira and you need a hanocha. What? What's the problem? Right, so you need an akira and hanocha. But now we have a different requirement. It has to be an akira and hanocha from someplace that has 4x4 tefachim. Right, but the lekin you don't have that because a hand is not 4x4. So this is Rebbe Kiva. We don't need he disagrees. This is Rebbe Kiva that disagrees and holds you don't need to pick it up from something that's 4x4. That's not nazarik. Okay, so listen to this case. Also interesting case. Somebody throws from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaYachid, and the Rishus HaRabim is in the middle. Okay. So now we know that you're chayav from throwing from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaRabim, and Rishus HaRabim to Rishus HaYachid, right? But what happens if you're going from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaYachid, and the Rishus HaRabim is in the middle? So Rabbi Kiva says you're chayav, and Chachamim say you're potter. Rabbi Kiva Savar, now here's a very interesting rule. Rabbi Kiva Savar, I'm reading a Kluta Kamisha Hun. When the airspace, this is the pashut, the way to understand it. Kluta, meaning when that object flies through the Rishus HaRabim, right? So then we look at it as if it rested in the Rishus HaRabim. So therefore, you're chayev for something going from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaRabim, right? But even though it never landed. So clearly, what are you going to see from Rabbi Kiva? That you don't need something that's dalad al dalad, because otherwise, how can you be mechayev him? Right? Again, we said in order to be chayev going from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaRabim, you need to have an akira and hanocha, right? You have to lift it on Rishus HaYachid, put it down on Rishus HaRabim. Here, it went from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaYachid through Rishus HaRabim.
It never stopped. It never stopped. Yet Rebbe Kiva is saying that you're chayev. Why? Because he says Kluta Kamisha Huncha. When it went in the airspace of Rishus HaRabim, we look at it like it rested on the ground. So clearly, we're going to at least try and say that it doesn't hold dalad al dalad, because it didn't rest on dalad al dalad. Even if you say it's Kluta,
and that the air absorbs it, and it makes it look not absorbed, it makes it go down into the ground, there's still no dalet al dalet. But Rabbanan the Rabbanan say you're not chayav for Kluta. So the Gemara says Lameimra. So that's what Rabba answered. So the Gemara says Lameimra the pshitale. I'm sorry, that's what Rabba answered. Lameimra the pshitale the Rabba the Kluta Kamisha Chadamia. Do we say that it's pashut that according to Rabba Kluta's Kamisha Chadamia, meaning because Rabba is the one that answered it. Ubesoich Asara pligi, and the machlokes is within 10. But meaning, because if it's above 10, you can't. But what we say before, above 10, this is again another rule that we have to know. Above 10 is not Rishus HaRabim anymore. So if you take an object, you throw it from Rishus HaYachid to Rishus HaYachid, and the object stayed above 10, then that's Rishus HaYachid to a Makom Patur to Rishus HaYachid. And then for sure, even Rebbe Kiva is going to hold that you're not chayav, right? So it has to be within 10. Right? But Rabba asked this question. The boy Rabba, Lamata miyud pligi, is the machlokes lower than 10? Ubaha pligi, and this is the machlokes Rabbi Kiva Sover Kluta Kamishon Padami. Since it's below 10, we look at it like it rested in Rishus HaRabim. Rabbanan say we rely in a Kluta Kamishon. And the Rabbanan say we don't say Kluta Tamia. Avalamalam miyud dereya kol potter, but above 10, everybody's going to say it's potter. And according to everybody, we don't learn out throwing from handing. Now, how do you know handing? Because in the Mishkan, when they loaded up the Mishkan, they went from one wagon, which is Rishus HaYachid, to another wagon, which is Rishus HaYachid, and there's a space of Rishus HaRabim in between. So when you hand it from one to the other, so then you'd be chayiv, because that's the way they did it in the Mishkan. But here, you're throwing it, you're not handing it. So do we learn out throwing from handing? Like we said before, everything has to be specific to the Mishkan. So do we say here that we don't learn out throwing from handing, or we do? Right? What do you
mean? So throwing would be mutter?
According to one side, yes, that maybe throwing would be again not mutter. It would be issur, but you wouldn't be chayiv, right?
So do we say one side? Even Rabbi Akiva says it's okay. You said
what?
If you throw it from one, if it's above 10.
If it's above 10, right? But the shaila is maybe the machlokes is below 10, right? Let's see the other side. Right? And everybody holds that you don't learn out Zarek from Moshe. Maybe the machlokes is above 10. A whole new concept, right? That it's above 10, and the question is, do we learn out Zarek from Moshe? Because when from one wagon to the other in the Mishkan, it was above 10, right? But that's handing, not throwing. So when you hand something from one to the other, that's considered a problem. But throwing, maybe not. My time and everybody holds this Kluta Commission. Meaning this is Rabba's Shaila. Does everybody hold of Kluta or not? So Rabba clearly did not know himself whether you hold of Kluta or not. So the Gemara answers, the Sover Rabbi Kiva Kluta Commission Chadamya. Rabba, and in the beginning had a question, and then afterwards he answered it, and that's the way he answered the Gemara's Shaila, right? So the Gemara says, "V'dilma hanochu delay bai akira bai," but maybe you only need to not. Meaning again, we're talking about throwing the thing through the Rishus HaRabim, right? We're throwing it through Rishus HaRabim. Yeah, so maybe we only learn out that Rabbi Kiva holds that you have to put it down on someplace dalet al dalet. Who says you need to pick it up from something dalet al dalet? Right. So therefore, we shlug up this whole thing. Elam Rav Yosef, how many Rebbe? This is the Tana's Rebbe. Hey Rebbe, so which Rebbe is it? Elam Yehad Rebbe the Tanya Zorak V'Nachal Gabi Ziz Kol Shehu Rebbe Mechai V'Cham Poitrim. If you say let's say you throw something, right? Again, we said you have to definitely put it down on something 4x4. Let's say there's a piece of stone sticking out of a wall, right? And you throw a ball, let's say, and it lands on top of that. So it's not dalet al dalet. So are you chayiv for that or not? Right? The Tanya Zarek B'Nochal Gabi Ziz Kol Shehu Rebbe Mechayev V'Cham Potter. Rebbe says chayiv, and the Chacham will say potter. Pasam Kedavin L'Meir L'Kamon Kedabayit. So we say that can't be the case here because that's really the way Abaye said it. Talking about a tree that was in Rishus HaYachid and its branches reached out to Rosh Hashanah, and you took something and threw it on the branches. The Rebbe Savaraminin Shadei Noifei Basar Ikra. We take the branch and we put it back. We attach it to the root. And Memela, when you landed on the branch, even though the branch was in Rosh Hashanah, but the root, not the root, the base of the tree was in Rosh Hashanah, so therefore we look at it like it landed in Rosh Hashanah. We don't say you put the branch Basar Ikra, but the point is that we don't learn out from this machlokes that it has anything to do with landing on Dalan Adal. Elaha Rebbe must be a different Rebbe. The Tanya Zark Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah. So let's say the opposite case that we were discussing. You throw from a public property to another public property through Rosh Hashanah. Rebbe Mechayev Chacham Pajim. Rebbe says Chayev and Chacham say Potter. Amar Rebbe Yehuda Amar Shmuel Mechayev Hayu Rebbe Shtayim. Rebbe was Chayev you twice. Achas Mishum Eitzav, Achas Mishum Achnasa. One for Eitzav, one for Achnasa. I'm surprised nobody asked this. Again, Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah through Rosh Hashanah. So you should really be Chayev too, because you went from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah, and then from Rosh Hashanah to Rosh Hashanah. Right? So clearly, he holds you don't need an akira or an anocha from someplace that's daled al daled. Right? So ha'itmar Allah, but we learn that Rav Shmuel, Dami Tavayu, they both say Rebbe El Rosh Hashanah Mekayra. Rebbe was not mechayev only in Rosh Hashanah that had in this case, Rebbe, when you threw from Rosh Hashanah to another Rosh Hashanah, Rosh Hashanah in the middle, that's talking about where Rosh Hashanah has a roof on it. I know the interesting rule, which is when you have a house, we look at it as if the house is totally full. Because you could say, what do you mean? The object didn't rest in Rosh Hashanah, but if you look at it as if the Rosh Hashanah was full, let's say it's full of straw, right? Then it would have landed on the straw. So even though it didn't land because we don't have the straw in there, but we look at a house as if it's full. So therefore, according to Rebbe, we look at it like it landed in the Rosh Hashanah and then went back into the Rosh Hashanah. But if it doesn't have a roof, not. If you're going to say that here in our case, the Rosh Hashanah has a roof on it, that can be Rosh Hashanah can have a roof on it. Rosh Hashanah are you ever chayev Rosh Hashanah that has a roof? Amar of Shmuel, Par Yehuda, Amar Rabbi Abba, Amar Avuna, Amar Rav, Amar Chayfetz Dalet Amos Rosh Hashanah Mekayra. Potter, if you carry, this is also the shuks that have. I walked through the shuk yesterday and I realized that it has a roof on it. The Armenian shuk in the old city has a roof on it. So you think that might be Rosh Hashanah, but since it has a roof on it, so therefore it's considered you're not chayev. Because it's not similar to the shvatim that lived in the midbar that they didn't have a roof on it. It must be done by achirim. The Tanya achirim. Oh, okay. You know what? It's too much already. It's too much. It's the middle of a sugya here, so we'll have to start it a little bit from there. Okay.
Start by the Tanya, yeah?
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, well, you probably have to start from a few lines before that. But okay, I hope it didn't blow everybody's brains out here.
No, it was very good. An hour and 15 minutes. Very good. We did 3 blocks.
Yeah, we didn't. It's less. It was an hour and 5 minutes because we were hanging around first. But yeah, I hope there was something understandable. Again, the main thing to take out of this, I'm going to try and post the reviews, and maybe the other can look at it over the next 3 days. At least these reviews like this, you'll be more acclimated. But the basic rules we come out from this is that Hilchos Shabbos, when it says potter, normally it's potter, but it's usur. That you need to pick something up from Rosh Hashanah and put it down in Rosh Hashanah in order for it to be chayev. It's a machlokes whether it needs to be 4x4 or not. And if 2 people do a malacha together, then they are potter. If you got out of this last hour and change, you got those rules, then you're already good to go. Even if some of the Gemara is a little technical. All right.
Technically, can I throw a frisbee at suntag?
What?
Maybe we should just do like 10 blot at night, and then we can have a break.
I said we should do 2 blot a night, and we finish shots twice as fast. We can outdo the Aguda.
Shine. Jacob, let's talk about something else. Maybe you want to do the Olam HaTova.
Okay.
You post on your status that we should limit going around Shlach Manos to all the teachers' houses.
Oh man, I would love to. If
we're
do
gonna
that.
go there, then can we start talking about not going on visiting day up to camps? If we're gonna
Yeah.
start this kind of things.
Yeah. And 1 second, Aaron. Why do you have to stop at teachers? Why don't we ask their kids giving to their friends?
No, I'm going the whole
What
day.
about
Let's
shopping?
go.
What about
only
shopping
if the
online from China? Shopping online. We could ask for that too.
No. We're talking about this. There's
I'm
no
talking about the
Purim.
coronavirus for Shulchan
Purim,
Aruch, no?
Purim is.
I'm
Purim
saying
is
for the
spent-
coronavirus, the stuff coming from
I
China.
understand, but he's not asking coronavirus. He's asking for something else. He's asking about Purim. The people running around. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Exactly. You can't drive around. The kids are making me nuts.
Correct.
100%.
Correct. So I don't know. You know what I mean? It's you know what? If you change it to Shushan Purim, probably be a lot better and a lot more appreciated.
Yeah,
from
I'd
the
go
kids,
to work.
you know?
I'd go to work.
Yeah.
What to do, Carol?
All right, whatever. You ain't gonna change it. What should you do?
Yeah. All right.
Have a Freilich Purim.
Freilich and Purim, and
All
everybody
right.
should enjoy and be
Enjoy.
safe.
When are you coming back?
I'm still gonna sit by your table. even though you're
Sunday
not there.
afternoon. Please do.
You're there for another week.
I hope to be back a week from now. Yeah.
And then how long will you quarantine?
How long? My kids are hoping quarantine till Pesach. My kids are rooting for that one.
From you until the summer.
Tiago, by the way, leave it to you. They will be. Hello.
Hey, listen. You know what? If they are, they are. What should I do? Now I have to be quarantined with them. It's a different story. Yeah. All right.
All right, this was a good idea. 3 blocks. I like this.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I hope everybody tries to chazer a little bit. I'll try and post some stuff.
Okay. Shkoyach, Tiago.
All right. Good.
All right.
Hey, I have an idea. Maybe we should have a Chazara Purim night.
Ooh.
We'll try to get everything all figured out. Akira, Nocha, this one, that one, over a bottle of wine.
Yeah. The bottle of wine can only help the matzav.
Yeah.
We'll have to pass the wine above 10 tefachim, lower than 10 tefachim. You're gonna start throwing it around, huh? Yeah, we'll squirt it across the table.
Very good. Very good.
All right, Tiago.
I'm not. By the way, I'm serious about it.
Right,
You're in? Anybody in?
I don't know.
Nobody's in?
Yeah, I want to go also. Wish on.
All right. You talking about tomorrow night? Hey. You talking about tomorrow night or on Monday night? No, tomorrow night. Tuesday night. No, tomorrow night. Yeah, I have a chavrusa tomorrow night, but if you get something going, I'll be interested here.